Right guys, so in this video we are covering the essential parts of a basic retrieve and what that looks like. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Here. Right, so we are going to cover all the different aspects that go around a basic retrieve and how I would progress that on from using a puppy training lane, which is what you're going to see me using next, through to being able to do a retrieve in a more open space. There are lots of things that you can get right and wrong. And typically I get the same message where people say, oh, I was retrieving in the house, the dog was retrieving really well, and they just went straight from in the house in a limited confined space, which is correct at the beginning, to suddenly an open field, and they wonder why the dog runs up, picks it up, looks back at you, and then it's like, see ya, and off they run with your retrieve, and that becomes a game. It's a very progressive state that you have to work through, and that's what we're going to talk about next, guys. Also, don't forget, if you're getting a new puppy this spring and you're looking for some help, guidance and advice, maybe look at doing my online training where you get to work directly with me through WhatsApp, where I guide you through the whole process from 8 weeks onwards. Right, let's get talking. Right, so when you first start retrieving with your puppy, the most important thing is that you do not give your dog a lot of space to parade around in. Now, I'm on my training ground and I have this puppy training lane, which I use extensively at the beginning, but typically I'm always starting off at home. Normally I suggest a hallway, a landing. If you've got limited space, maybe between a wall and a sofa, put some chairs on the side, anything to create a lane where the dog has no option but to go out and come back. And typically when we start, I say to people, you don't need much more than 4 or 5 feet, maybe even less. You might even be just chucking the retrieve that far at the start. Now I'm going to start right at the very beginning, and this happens. I typically, with my clients, always start retrieving straight away. Apart from the crate routine and something called enrichment, which I work with my online clients, the most important thing right at the beginning is starting to develop this retrieve. And I literally tell people they can have a go at this from the day after they bring the puppy home. Now, sometimes at first your dog won't have a natural engagement on the retrieve, so you'll throw something and they just dance around in front of you and they don't go get it. So often at the start you might have to play with them a bit like you would with a cat with a feather. Now typically I get people to start off with a tiny little sock, somewhere around the size of a large golf ball, and it might be that you just have to do a figure of 8 on the floor, and when you feel the puppy starting to paw at the retrieve, then I just gently flick it out. And you might have to do that first. Some puppies you throw something straight away and they go out and try and pick it, but they must see the movement at the start. Puppies are eye orientated at the start, so if the puppy's facing you and you throw it like that, they're not going to go get it. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're holding the puppy. So this is my puppy today. Okay, you want to make sure you're holding the puppy on the ground, not off the ground. Make sure the head is pointing that way, and you might typically just do that and then let the dog go. That's literally where it starts. Now you might find, for example, here this is already too much space, so I might have to come right forwards to do a retrieve, maybe literally a couple of feet, and that's completely normal at the start. You could be super lucky and get yourself a puppy that you throw a retrieve, runs out, picks it, comes back, comes up in your lap, and you think, wow, I've won the lottery here. And that does happen in 10% of cases. But most puppies at the start are going to probably be a little bit reluctant to come back. Or typically something we see a lot is that you bring the puppy home, they're super good for the first week, and then as they find their feet in your environment and they become more confident, they suddenly stop wanting to come back so freely. And that's where your lane is super important at the beginning. You're typically going to have to lean forwards and pull the dog up onto your lap. Now, it's really important that a dog gets a chance to hold the retrieve. This is something, again, I see an awful lot. People trying to get the dog to them via pulling the retrieve. When you pull on the retrieve, it makes them put the anchors on and makes them not want to come back to you. It can also make them become more slightly possessive about the retrieve, or the opposite of letting go of the retrieve. So it's really important when you're trying to get them back to you that you pull them and not on the retrieve. Really important, guys. Okay, so we're in our training lane, puppy on our left hand side, making sure the puppy's facing forwards. You can roll your retrieve out, send your puppy. As soon as the dog picks the retrieve, the lower you get, and often I'm saying to my clients, put your head on the ground, hands by the side of your head, make some nice kissing noises. You'll be amazed how much keener the dog will be to come back to you when you get super low. And as soon as you feel the puppy buzzing around your head, you can sit up and gently pull the dog up onto your lap. Now, it's important you maintain keeping the back feet on the ground. We're just looking to get the front feet up on your knees, okay? Not necessarily right up your body, okay? Keep your knees together, back feet on the floor. Now, everyone has hard floors these days, which are not great for your dog's legs, ligaments, feet, etc. So get a rug or something to kneel on, not a towel because that tends to scrunch up, but a runner if you've got one, or if you've got a carpeted area, that's better. If they're skating about, it makes them a bit daft and silly, and they're less likely to retrieve consistently, okay? So they need a little bit of grip underneath their feet. Now, until I can retrieve in 4 or 5 feet out and back with no exit for the dog, which is why you want a narrow space, I'm often telling clients, put a wash basket on one side of you to block that exit, because they're going to look to get past you. By nature, cockers especially, more so than springers, but I generally say 80% of cockers do not naturally want to come back. You have to teach that. And if you go from this narrow space to an open field like that, you are not going to end up with a good retrieve. It's very, very progressive. So once I can do a good retrieve here, okay, and I can get the dog out and back, then I can look at moving further and further back, okay? Once I can do that, I might look at reversing the retrieve, and I'll show you what I mean in this next bit. So just remember, there are no shortcuts to good training. Very, very, very rarely. And so people might say, oh, I don't have that. Just cobble something together. So we're in our training lane. I've now come to the other end and I'm retrieving out into the mouth. This is the next stage. So I've been retrieving this way. I've now opened it up a little bit, which is why it's on hinges, even though one of them's broken. Okay, and now what I'm going to be looking to do is a basic retrieve, not even all the way out of the lane, but I'm going to increase that retrieve gradually, gradually, gradually. Okay, once I can do it here, out and back, maybe I'm just throwing beyond the lane and the funnel of the puppy lane is funneling the dog up back onto me. Great, that's that next stage. After that, I might start in the garden where there's a bit more space, and probably with my back to a wall, again, to avoid an exit. It's a very, very gradual process. I've done another video on puppy retrieving, which I'm going to put in the description below if you want to go through and watch that. I would also suggest, if you're looking to progress your retrieve, to perhaps go back and watch my Charlie's vlog series, which is on my YouTube channel. If you go down back through my videos, watch the first episode. There's about 13 episodes, and it shows you 100% of my process of how I go through using retrieving leads, the natural progression on, and how I go about doing stuff. There is hours and hours that I can talk about retrieving, but today I just wanted to talk about the core essentials about getting going. As I said previously earlier, the biggest mistake that people will make is that they will go from doing a very puppy-like retrieve to going out in an open field, and that rarely works, okay? And it's all about getting the dog up on me, securing the position, avoiding the dog going around me, running off with the retrieve, limited spaces. And typically when I'm working with clients, you know, they're going to be doing this for some time. The benchmark that I set is very high, and I don't expect people at 6 months to be doing the same as me at 6 months. I'm always saying to my clients, if you're a year old, when you're a year old, if you can do what I'm doing at 4.5, 5 months old, I'd be over the moon, okay? So I'm obviously always showing through my vlog series how I'm training, but I don't expect you to be doing it the same speed and level. That's really, really important to remember. So don't judge yourself by where I'm at the same age. It's irrelevant. Only ever do what you need to do. Limit your dog's world. So this funnel is creating these natural you know, lanes to stop the dog, the blinkers to stop the dog going anywhere else. And if you watch my vlog series, you'll see everything that I do to start with is always in and around me. I'm not letting them romp off. I'm not throwing retrieves long way. Everything's visual, in and around me, and I'm keeping my dog's engagement on me. And that's so important. Engagement, having the dog interacting with you through something such as a retrieve. And that's why I'm such a massive advocate of retrieving, because if you can stimulate your dog's brain, you will stimulate your dog's legs through its brain. But if you just stimulate your dog's legs, your brain will go elsewhere, and then you'll struggle to keep your dog's focus on you. And that's typically what I see all the time. Anyway, I hope this has been of some use. Don't forget, as I said, there's another video on retrieving. I'll also put Charlie's first vlog episode in the description at the bottom, so you could go back and watch that. And then if you wanted, you could go back through and watch all the episodes, and you can see how I train a dog from 12 weeks onwards. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Any questions, stick them in the description below. And as I said, if you're getting a new puppy this spring, summer, maybe send me a message on Facebook, Hampshire Spaniel Training, and I can give you some more information on my training. Anyway, happy training, guys.